In the peaceful valley of Shantipur, life flowed gently like the river that ran beside it. The village was rich in green fields, honest people, and simple dreams. For generations, the villagers lived from the land, respecting nature as a blessing rather than a resource to be sold. One morning, silence shattered as a convoy of expensive black cars entered the village, covering the roads with dust. The cars belonged to Waqar Khan, a powerful and extremely wealthy industrialist, and his ambitious son, Yusuf Khan. Waqar wanted to build a huge chemical factory on the village land that had fed Shantipur for centuries. A meeting was arranged in the village square. Villagers gathered under the banyan tree, watching the outsiders carefully. Waqar Khan stood confidently at a makeshift podium in the village square, addressing the villagers with a persuasive smile, while his son Yusuf watched intently from the side. He spoke about progress and prosperity, painting a picture of a brighter future fueled by the factory's promise. Yet amidst the hopeful words, murmurs of doubt spread quietly through the crowd. Many villagers exchanged glances, recalling the untouched beauty of their land and the hard work that kept their community thriving. As Waqar continued his pitch, the weight of the decision loomed heavy over Shantipur, a tension hanging in the air. Waqar spoke confidently, "Give us your land and we will give you money, modern houses, and jobs. This factory will bring progress to your village." The villagers listened politely. Then Ramdas, the elderly village leader, stood up. His back was bent with age, but his voice was strong. "Sir," he said calmly, "this land is not for sale. Your factory will poison our river, destroy our crops, and harm our children. We choose life over money." A wave of agreement spread among the villagers. Yusuf laughed arrogantly. "Father, these villagers are uneducated. They don't understand development." Waqar's eyes turned cold. "You are making a big mistake," he warned. "You will regret this decision." As tensions rise, Waqar takes a step closer, his frustration evident. "You can't turn down progress," he insists, his voice echoing through the gathering. Ramdas unwavering counters. "Progress that comes at the cost of our home is not progress we seek." The villagers rally behind him, their eyes narrowing at Waqar's challenge. In that moment, it becomes clear that the village stands united, valuing their land and heritage over promises of wealth. Waqar's determination falters as he realizes that his vision of development clashes profoundly with the villagers' fierce loyalty to their roots. They left, but their anger stayed. Soon trouble followed. Electricity to the village was cut, water supply stopped without explanation, government officials arrived, threatening the villagers with false legal cases. One night, bulldozers entered nearby fields and destroyed crops, calling them illegal land. Fear filled Shantipur, but the villagers remained united. "This land is our soul," said Mira, the village school teacher. "If we lose it, we lose ourselves." As the night fell and tension rose, the villagers gathered to discuss their next steps, each heartbeat with determination, knowing that surrender was not an option. United, they formed a plan to stand against the injustice that threatened their very existence. With whispers of hope and courage, they vowed to fight back for their land and their future. The next morning, fueled by a sense of purpose, the villagers marched towards the town hall. They were armed not just with tools, but with unwavering resolve. Each sign they carried echoed their cry for justice, a powerful reminder of their connection to the land. The struggle had only just begun, but their spirits were indomitable. "This land is our soul," said Mira, the village school teacher. "If we lose it, we lose ourselves." Yusuf, furious at their resistance, ordered his men to teach the villagers a lesson. Huts were burned at night. The small village school was destroyed. Toxic waste was secretly released into the river upstream. Children began falling sick. Crops turned yellow and died. Hunger and pain entered every home. Still, the villagers refused to bow. Despite the overwhelming despair, the villagers banded together, finding strength in their unity. Each day they visited the river to clean it, hoping to revive their land. With whispers of rebellion flowing through the air, they began to organize, plotting ways to protect their home and each other from the relentless onslaught. Mira, realizing that words alone wouldn't be enough, decided to rally her people. "We are not just fighting for our land, we are fighting for our identity," she declared. With a newfound courage, they planned a demonstration to confront Yusuf, determined to make their voices heard and reclaim what was rightfully theirs. As they approached Yusuf's stronghold, hearts pounding with fear and resolve, the villagers stood tall, ready to face the darkness that had engulfed their lives. Channeling their collective strength, they shouted their message loud and clear: "We will not be silenced." The atmosphere crackled with tension as both sides prepared for a confrontation that would define their future. One evening, Ramdas collapsed after drinking polluted water. On his deathbed, he held Mira's hand and whispered, "Promise me, don't let greed win." His death broke the hearts of the villagers but strengthened their resolve. Far away in the city, Yusuf celebrated his power, believing money made him unstoppable. But destiny had other plans. One night after a party, Yusuf's car broke down near Shantipur. With no phone signal and no help, he was forced to walk into the very village he had tried to destroy. As Yusuf walked through the darkness, unease settled in his heart. The villagers were unaware of his approach, wrapped in conversations about the loss of Ramdas and the promise to safeguard their community from greed. Tension filled the air as whispers of his arrival spread among them, rekindling both fear and hope. Upon reaching the village, Yusuf hesitated at its edge, the flickering lanterns casting an inviting glow. The villagers soon spotted him, and a palpable tension rose among them, the air thick with emotions of betrayal and justice as they prepared to confront the man who had tried to undermine their lives. But Mira raised her hand. "If we become like him," she said, "then what will remain of our humanity?" Despite everything, the villagers gave Yusuf water, food, and shelter. That night, Yusuf could not sleep. He saw sick children coughing in the dark. He saw burned huts and empty fields. He heard mothers crying quietly. For the first time in his life, guilt entered his heart. In the morning, Yusuf asked Mira softly, "Why did you help me after all I did?" She replied, "Because this village still has a heart, something you lost long ago." Yusuf felt a stirring within him, an echo of a humanity he had long forgotten. The warmth of the village began to thaw the icy walls around his heart. As he watched the children laugh, he realized the impact of his past actions and the possibility of redemption. Mira's words lingered in his mind, igniting a flicker of hope. Perhaps he could change, and perhaps the village could help him find his way back to who he once was. With each passing day, Yusuf took small steps towards healing, slowly earning the trust of the villagers. He began to help them in the fields and listen to their stories, understanding the weight of his past mistakes. Mira watched him transform, her heart swelling with a mixture of hope and caution. The villagers spoke of forgiveness, and Yusuf felt lighter, knowing that perhaps he could find peace within himself. As the sun dipped below the horizon, he realized that this village had given him not just shelter, but also a chance to reclaim his lost humanity. Yusuf returned to the city, but not the same man. Days later, Waqar Khan received shocking news. Yusuf had filed a case against his own father, exposing illegal activities, corruption, and environmental crimes related to the factory plant. The media exploded. Investigations began. Waqar's empire collapsed piece by piece. His wealth could not save him from the truth. The factory project was canceled forever. Months later, Yusuf returned to Shantipur, not as a rich man's son, but as a man seeking forgiveness. "I cannot undo the pain," he said with tears, "but I want to rebuild what I destroyed." Finally, Mira spoke. "Land can be rebuilt. Trust takes time." Together, they began the arduous task of restoring the land, planting new seeds, not just in the soil, but also in the hearts of the community. Each sapling represented a fresh start, an opportunity for healing and rebuilding trust. Days turned into weeks, and slowly the scars of the past started to fade as an inspiring sense of unity emerged among the people of Shantipur. Their collaborative efforts breathed life back into the land, and with it came the hope for a flourishing future. Yusuf knew that redemption would take time, but each day brought him closer to forgiveness, not only from others, but from himself as well. Yusuf stayed. He worked in the fields, helped clean the river, rebuilt the school, and supported eco-friendly projects. He lived simply and learned humility through hard work. Years passed. Shantipur became a symbol of courage, a village that stood against greed and won. Its story inspired many across the country, and Yusuf learned the greatest lesson of his life. Yusuf learned that true wealth comes from kindness, resilience, and the bonds forged in the face of adversity. He understood that their struggle was not just for survival, but for a legacy of hope that would be passed down to generations. Yusuf realized that every challenge faced together was a step toward building a brighter tomorrow for all of Shantipur. He discovered that nurturing the next generation was his most important role, ensuring that the values of courage and unity lived on. In that quiet moment, Yusuf felt a profound gratitude for the life lessons learned in the community that had become his family. Yusuf understood that every small action contributed to the greater good, creating a ripple effect of positive change that extended beyond Shantipur. He witnessed the power of unity as every hand joined in celebration, strengthened the bond that held them all together.